Coin Shop Chris is all fired up. What is going on? The silver market is delicate and fragile, and we've got some big stories to talk about today. Next week, we're going to get news from the Fed. That's going to have a major impact on the price of precious metals. What about a rumor for a 10-ounce silver bar shortage? We're going to cover that. And what is going on with China? We are seeing crazy differences in the price of silver, in particular, between China and the United States. And Keith Neumeyer makes a big move with First Majestic Silver, starting First Mint to mint his own silver products to sell directly to you, the silver investor. Without further ado, let's all welcome our friend Coin Shop Chris.
Well, thank you, Ron. It's always good to be back in the basement once again every week. I thank you for having me. So let's just jump right into this.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about our good friend. We all love Jerome Powell. On the 19th and 20th of next week, they're going to have their meeting, and we're going to hear their latest decision on interest rate policy. We know that has such a big impact on the metals prices and has. Any thoughts on what we can expect next week, Chris?
Ron, what more can they do? They keep saying inflation was transitory and it's coming down. This is getting crazy. Now we got the latest CPI report. Inflation's going back up. They're trapped, Ron. The Fed is just trapped. We got raising oil prices. We're seeing that $90 a barrel, Ron. That's more fuel for more inflation. The Fed's just trapped on.
I think you're right. We're in a position where we're seeing inflation go up, but the Fed in a position where they can't really take real measures to fight inflation, because if they do, they're going to torpedo the economy. So Do you think it's a safe assessment to say that the Fed's going to maybe come out with a lot of verbal diarrhea, I like to refer to it, but not really be able to do anything, and that we will see inflation? It's going to create a Goldilocks environment for the precious metals.
Yeah, if we get a rate hike, Ron, we are going to see more problems in the banks. We're going to see more job loss. Now, people were happy about Bed and Bath going under. You might not shop at some of these stores that go under, but eventually it will affect you down the road.
I know you were deeply affected, and I think it's safe to say even devastated when Bed Bath and Beyond went under. I know that was one of your absolute favorite stores.
Well, was not one of my favorite stores, Ron, but it's still job loss, and people need jobs. And that's the whole point of it. There was some nasty comments when we did that video. Oh, I'm glad they went, but people don't understand. It's probably the trolls that come in on your channel and want to, but they really don't care about silver and gold. They want to be a troll, and and they don't see the bright picture like most of the viewers do about gold, silver, and platinum. Excuse me. And what's really going on? The people who watch your channel on. The ones that really watch your channel are the ones that get it. The other ones don't have a clue.
Yeah, it's an interesting environment we're moving into right now. Again, the Fed is trapped, and I think it's safe to say that we're going to have inflation, and we could be entering, I believe, a new paradigm for the precious metals where high inflation, which really can't be combated by the Fed, is going to result in much, much higher prices for the precious metals. What about silver, the silver market? We know it's delicate. We know it's fragile. It's small. A billion ounces of silver a year are produced. It's a $20 billion market. You heard some rumors, and we'll emphasize rumors, that there's some difficulty acquiring 10-ounce bars. Anything you can add to that, Chris?
Yeah, this week I've had a few customers come into the shop, Ron, and they're saying they're looking at different online dealers and they're looking at different coin shops. Now, I'm not claiming there's a shortage before all the comments come flying in. What I am saying is I called the bullion dealer also, and he said select mints are having trouble keeping up with the demand. So
Interesting.
he specifically said this is a bump, maybe a bump in the road, but he says it's strictly right now really on 10-ounce bars. There seems to be a little bit of a run on 10-ounce bars. Because I've checked some of these other websites myself, Ron, and I've seen out of stocks, notify me. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff missing right now at this time. Does that mean there's an actual shortage? It's going to have some time to play out on that one.
Interesting. And maybe that's why, Keith Neumeyer decided to start his own mint. I know part of the reason was that he was having a hard time getting First Majestic silver products actually minted. Now, this will be a good time for us to quickly cover some research you did on 10-ounce bars, and it relates to our sponsor, Pimbex, Pimbex. What did you find when you went out onto the World Wide Web and compared prices on 10-ounce bars, Chris?
Week after week, Ron, I do a lot of research. And last night I was doing some research around 7:35 last night, and that date would have been 9/15/2023. We are recording this video on 9/16/23. And I was happy to place my first order with Pimbex. They had a 10-ounce Canadian bar for a very good price. We'll get to their price in a minute, Ron.
First Mining Gold is a development company advancing two of the largest gold projects in Canada, Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet located in Quebec. Each already has 5 million ounces of gold reserves, but exploration initiatives are underway at both projects to find even more gold. First Mining is well-financed, has zero debt, and owns an interest in 4 additional Canadian gold development projects.
But I went out pricing them after I placed my order at max. $323 for a 10-ounce Canadian, 4/9 fine silver. JM Bullion came in at $321.40. Money Metals came in at $305.20. Silver, gold, and gold came in at $298.68. Hero Bullion came in at $277.16. SD Bullion came in at $272.20, and Pimbex came in at the cheapest, $270.05. Now,
Wow. Go ahead.
If you take the highest price at ATMEX and minus what Pimbex is offering, it's $52.95.
Wow.
I tell you,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry. I gotta, I was able to order 11 ounces from Pimbex. I also ordered a 1 ounce 2023 kookaburra from Australia. The total was what, 302, 303, somewhere around that price range. It was 302 and change, I believe it was. Cheaper than I could order it from ATMEX. I was able to get a Chinese meal. And guess what? I was able to get a box of my ding dongs on for the same price. Thank you, Pimbex.
So for the same price, you got the 10-ounce Canadian bar, the kookaburra 1 ounce coin, you got a Chinese meal, and you got 1 box of ding dongs. Wow. Yeah, I mean, and all joking aside, what that shows is when you're buying bullion, number one, you buy the bullion dealer. You got to make sure you're getting your metal from a reputable source with a great reputation, all that. But then you check the price, and there can be a huge price differentiation on the same exact products, and you can get yourself an ounce or two extra sometimes of silver, or in your case, ding dongs and Chinese food. Thank you for that. And maybe this is why Keith Neumeyer, right? Keith, who is a recognized leader in the world of silver, the CEO of First Majestic Silver, has started his own mint. It's in Nevada. They've been selling silver from their website for years and years and years. He's complained or lamented how hard it is to get the products made. They're often sold out. So he just went ahead and started his own mint, which my hat's off to him, because he's talked about many times over the years his frustration with the pricing mechanism in the silver market, and talked about how silver miners could take some real steps to help change how silver is priced. And he's doing his part. He's starting his own mint, and it even says that ideally they would look at potentially down the road selling 100% of their production through their minted product. So I think it's a huge, I'm not saying that, Keith Neumeyer broke the COMEX or anything like that, but I am saying at minimum, he's doing his part to help the silver investor, silver market eventually realize what should be the true price for silver.
Well, exactly. And I give hats off to Keith too. I mean, I think he's a smart man, to say the least. And he's trying to keep the money in house, and this is good for the shareholders too, Ron. I mean, I think it's great. Why sell it when you sell it for a little cheaper to another company when you can take 100% of the profits on the backside? I mean,
yeah, no, it's good.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, it's a smart move. You're exactly right. And I've had Keith on Ron's Basement in the past. Keith's actually the chairman and founder of our other mining company sponsor, First Mining Gold. But I have a question for Keith that I want to ask him, and I'll be curious to get your take on this as well, Chris. Would he or at some point will he also be selling those First Majestic products to other bullion dealers? Will people eventually be able to buy First Majestic minted bars, coins, medallions, whatever, from companies like Pimbex or SD Bullion or some of the other? You know what I mean? I mean, if he really moves forward with this, and I mean, apparently they've got like the latest and greatest technology in terms of the smelting equipment and all that. I think I'd be curious to hear if what the plans are in terms of eventually not just selling it through their website, but also through other bullion dealers. I can't see why they wouldn't, but obviously I can't answer that question.
Well, other companies do it, Ron. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, in the shop that I work in, Ron, I see all kinds of different bullion companies with the names on there. Silver, and people like different bullion companies or different manufacturers. I mean, at the end of the day, it really don't matter what's on the bar around. At the end of the day, it's silver. And, it really don't matter whose name or what logo or what design's on the, if you're a collector, yeah, I guess you can say that, you have a little bit more of a preference that way. But for my standards, if I can get it for the price I want to, I don't care what's on it.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, and what we may run into is it's not going to matter because all that silver might be going to China anyway, the way things are looking. I don't know if you've been following this, but it's a fascinating story and fact that right now silver is trading at a significant premium in China on the Shanghai Gold Exchange and also on the Shanghai Futures Exchange. Last week, there were several reports when silver was trading around $22.50 per ounce on the COMEX and the LBMA, that it was trading for 25, 23, I think was the highest it hit on the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Shanghai Futures Exchange. This is a big deal, this massive price. I think I read somewhere almost 12% at one point, price differentiation between the Western markets, again, the COMEX and the LBMA, and what we're seeing in Shanghai. This could be a major story for the precious metals market as we go through the rest of this year and into next year, that the price discovery over there is indicating that the price of silver should be much higher. And what's very interesting, from what I've been able to figure out from research, is that on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, it's actually much more of a physical market, meaning it's not like the COMEX where you've got, anywhere between 30 and 300 contracts written for each 1 real ounce of silver and or gold, whereas over there, the contracts are much more reflective of actual metal that's being held.
Well, and this it's going to be like a war, between price, what the true price is, Ron. I mean, spin back what Keith's doing. Why would he want to sell the COMEX at spot price when he can get the same price everybody else is charging, $27, $28, $30 an ounce, and he keeps that money? I mean, go back to that. Why would why would you want to do that when you can keep it in house? I mean, China, China's gonna come and play. I think Russia will come into play with some of this. Other countries, Australia will come into play. I mean,
Saudi Arabia, United
everybody.
Arab Emirates.
These big, the LBMA, the COMEX, or we call it the CRIMEX, because they're a bunch of crooks. They're both of them. They want to manipulate the price. JP Morgan's a big one. Bank of America's another big one. They're spoofing orders every day. So I mean, something needs to be done, and the governments around the world don't want to do anything about it. So people need to start taking action in their own hands and doing something like what Keith's doing, selling his own metals.
Yeah, the silver market has so much going on. The issues, the monetary and fiscal issues in the United States. What's going on a worldwide basis in terms of demand and supply and pricing mechanism. We know what's going on with China. We know what leaders in the field like Keith Neumeyer are doing. It's going to be a very interesting ride. It's delicate and fragile, and I'm a delicate guy myself, so I can say that. I can recognize I'm a delicate
comment.
flower, huh?
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. Let's wrap up here, Chris, with a report from the shop. How are things in the shop? And of course, what everybody's waiting for, Chris's monthly numbers. What's going on at the shop?
Well, I tell you, starting this week, it was low sales, Ron, and the shop owner was, crabby, complaining, like he normally does. He's 87 years old. But, Thursday and Friday, we had some decent numbers that came in. So, I mean, it seemed like it picked up.
Yeah.
I think people are waiting for a little bit of a price dip. I see a lot in the comments, and I want, I got to give this, I'm not trying to give financial advice here. People are waiting for $17, $18 silver. You guys can go back to my rest of my videos, and I've said constantly, I don't see we're going to fall below 22. So far, that has not happened since I said that the first time. We have got close. This week, we did dip down to 22.56, I think the low was. Somewhere right around there, we jumped right back up again.
Yeah, you're like you're like a fortune teller.
No, I mean, I just don't see us unless some big event happens where it's going to drop. If we have a major crash, it might drop it down like it normally's done before. But this, people get sick of hearing this, Ron. This time's different. I don't think we're going to, and if we even do go back to 18, the premiums are going to be through the roof. You're still going to be paying what you're paying now. And you might not be able to find what you want.
Chris,
yeah.
Chris, let me tell you something. If silver goes to $17 or $18 an ounce, there is going to be a wave of people coming in to buy. My hand's up. I'll be one of them. And I'm telling you, it is different. And we need look no further and even discuss this even further, because we can just look back to what happened in March and April with the little banking crisis. And what happened then, right? There was a wave of people that came in and premiums went sky high. And Pat Holland from the Missouri Freedom Initiative, a great friend of the channel, always likes to remind us that that is the real price of silver. I think Keith Neumeyer was starting his own mint, right? And now being able to sell more and more of the silver they dig out of the ground at the retail price, which is the CRIMEX price plus the premium. I think he would argue that that's the real price of silver as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I just can't, Ron, I just can't stress that enough. Why would you want to pay more later and you're thinking you're getting a better deal when actually you're paying $1 more because the premiums are a lot higher than they were?
Right.
And
Right.
the end point of it is you might not find the particular product you want. It might be gone. I always say cost average, get some now, wait a couple of weeks. If you see a little bit of a dip, then get a little bit more. I mean, it's not financial advice. I just want to help protect everybody who's has cash on the sidelines, waiting to pull the plug. You just do your own research, listen to other people, please. Nobody is an expert in this. And, I really don't like that word, but I'll get to the numbers on here for the past month if you want them.
Yeah. Where would you want me to beg for them? Chris, please give us the numbers.
If you send me my ding dongs, I'd appreciate it, but that's never going to happen. So, I mean, but no, silver the past 30 days, and this number is going to sound a little funny, but it is actually a true number. Silver was actually up 73 cents over the last 30 days. Keep in mind, we did dip down to 22.56. So that's why we're seeing this price action here. Silver is actually up 3.22 for the last 30 days. Gold was up $11 over the last 30 days, or up 0.57%. Platinum did very, very well the last 30 days. It was up $37.30, or up 4.18%. Our friend Bitcoin was down 2,694.90, or down 9.24%. And Ron, oil, this is the big boy this week. Oil was sitting at $90.77 a barrel, up $9.78, or up 12.08%. And they want to say inflation is at 4, whatever the heck they want to say it is. Everything evolves around oil. End of story. That's where you get your shipping stuff from. We drive. Someone said in the comments, one of your past videos here on, it's costing him $25 a day to get back and forth to work for gas.
That's just gas.
At what point it's not even viable to go into work because you're paying all your money into gas?
Yeah.
And we might see that. We might see that this winter.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Ron, very much.
It's been great on behalf of all the viewers. You put a lot of work into researching for this weekly update. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything you do. And we will look forward to seeing you next week.
We will see you next week, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.